This is a tragic story out of San Jose, California, and warning now, it does talk about child abuse. Relatives charged after 3-year-old died at a San Jose church exorcism. San Jose, California, 3 people have now been arrested and charged following the death of a 3-year-old girl at a church exorcism in San Jose. San Jose police on Friday identified the girl's uncle, Rene Aaron Hernandez-Santos, 19, and her grandfather, Rene Trigueros Hernandez, 59, as the newest suspects to be arrested on suspicion of felony child abuse. They were arrested on Wednesday. The girl's mother, Claudia Hernandez-Santos, 25, had already been charged with felony child abuse following her daughter's death in the 100 block of South 2nd Street, which is a makeshift Pentecostal church called Iglesia Apostoles Profetas, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing these wrong. The elder Hernandez is also the pastor of the church. The girl, Arlie Naomi Proctor, died on September 24th of 2021 as the family was trying to rid her of evil spirits, according to court documents filed against the mother. As for why it took so long to charge the uncle and the grandfather, San Jose police spokesperson Stephen Aponte said the coroner's report determining the girl died by asphyxiation was released only recently and implicated the 2 individuals that were arrested just 2 days ago. The spotlight has recently been focused on this basement church as a parishioner there has also been charged in a separate kidnapping case of a baby boy. In the case of the 3-year-old girl, officers were called out to the church and found her unresponsive on the floor. First responders tried to revive her, but she was pronounced dead at the hospital. Efforts to determine if any of the family members had attorneys were not immediately available on Friday. The mother had previously denied a request for an interview. Charging documents filed against the mother indicate she told police she believed her daughter was possessed because she would wake up and scream or cry periodically. She was 3. That's what babies do. She and her brother brought the daughter to the church where they were joined by the grandfather to perform an exorcism. Hernandez-Santos is accused of holding the girl's neck, squeezing it, and depriving her of food while her father and her brother held her daughter down. She was trying to get her daughter to throw up, which she believed would help her get the spirit out, the charging documents state. This went on for about 12 hours, leaving the girl with injuries around her eyes, face, neck, and chest. That poor baby. San Jose police added that after the girl died, no one performed CPR or called 911. The church operates out of the back room of a house and often posts its sermons on YouTube. In a 43-minute video posted on YouTube in January, Hernandez-Santos talks about her desire to be a mother and shared stories of her life and daughter. In the video, she is seen laughing and asking for people to send her cash and follow her on social media. She also addressed her daughter's death. She states, I could sit here and be negative, be sad about the whole situation that she passed away, but it's there's no point, because it is what it is, she said in the video. It is what it is, she's not here with me. It is what it is, And it's what's the point, I'm just going to be putting myself down where there's no point for me to do that, I cannot change the past. And I'm going to insert a clip of that video right here.
And like I said, my baby was such a happy baby, and I don't know, I could sit here and be negative about the thing, I wish I could go back and this and that, but it's there is no point of me doing that, because I cannot change what is, it is what it is. So I've learned to think positive, because it's 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 many reasons why God took her, and I sit here and I think like, oh, what if something would have happened to her, what if she would have had like a sickness, or like what if something would have happened to her, or like, I don't know, it's a lot, and at the same time, like, I I don't know, like I told you guys, like, I can see here and be negative, but and be negative, like, oh, not being negative, but like be sad about that whole situation that she passed away. But it's like there's no point, because it is what it is. It is what it is. She's not here with me. It is what it is. And it's like, what's the point? I'm just gonna be putting myself down when there's no point for me to do that. Like, I cannot change the past, and I gotta be positive about the situation. Like, at least she's not suffering. Like, in this world we suffer so much. And especially nowadays, like, everything is just so bad. Like, everything just going downhill. And that's what I'm thankful for. That she's not gonna grow up in that world, like in the world that we live in. Even though there is a lot of positive things, and I could say like, oh, I'm not gonna see her grow up, this and that. But like I told you, like, there's no point of me doing that, because it is what it is. It is what it is, So, yeah, like, of course, when I think about her, I get sad and I cry and I miss her. Of course, I miss her every day, every second of the day,
It just is what it is, That's strange words to say after your baby has passed. I have the report filed by Sergeant J.J. Vallejo of the San Jose Police Department on February 1st of 2022. It states, on September 24, 2021, at approximately 8:12 p.m., the San Jose Police Department was notified of a child death after the female reporting party stated her 3-year-old daughter passed away. The location given by the reporting party was at 1094 South 2nd Street, which was a church. Fire medical personnel arrived on the scene and located the victim on the floor of the church. They began life-saving measures, and the victim was subsequently transported to Valley Medical Center. The victim was pronounced deceased at Valley Medical Center at 8:59 p.m. The death was later preliminarily determined to be a homicide, with the cause of death of asphyxiation due to suffocation due to mechanical asphyxia and smothering, with the final autopsy report pending. Patrol officers located the victim's mother, Claudia Hernandez, herein referred to as defendant, the victim's uncle, and the victim's maternal grandfather on the scene. All three parties were separated and initial statements were taken. Patrol officers learned the suspects believed the child was possessed by a demon and that they were at the church praying for her. Defendant provided a statement to a patrol officer stating the victim was possessed by an evil spirit. Defendant stated she attempted to stick her finger down the victim's throat and squeeze the victim's neck to induce vomiting. The victim fell asleep several times while defendant pushed down on the victim's throat with her hand. Defendant described the victim sustaining bruising around her eyes, throat, neck, and chest. Defendant stated the victim died. They did not perform any medical assistance, and they did not call 911. They called the police 1 to 2 hours after the victim's death. Why? Why did you wait so long? Were you discussing what you were going to do with the body, or? Victim's grandfather was identified as the leader of the church and claimed he was a certified pastor. The victim had multiple injuries around her eyes, face, neck, and chest, consistent with what the defendant stated. Sergeant Vallejo and Detective Harrington interviewed the defendant 2 separate times on 9/25/21. The following is a synopsis of both interviews. Defendant explained that the night before, on 9/23/21, she began to believe the victim was possessed because the victim would wake up and scream or cry periodically. Defendant and victim's uncle prayed for the victim while inside of a bedroom. On 9/24/2021 at approximately 6:30 a.m., defendant and victim's uncle drove the victim to the church located at 1094 South 2nd Street in San Jose. Defendant believed the victim to be possessed. Defendant stated that she held the victim around her waist and neck to help her throw up, which she believed would help her get the spirit out. At times, defendant attempted to open the victim's mouth with her hands. At some point, victim's grandfather arrived at the church to assist them in prayer. After that, defendant, victim's uncle, and victim's grandfather were all holding victim, attempting to cause her to vomit. One individual was holding the victim by the neck while one held her around her abdomen and last held her around her legs. Defendant described that the three parties would switch where they held the victim, trying to induce vomiting. Eventually, the victim vomited a clear purple liquid. Defendant believed the victim died sometime between 6 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. Defendant did not immediately call 911 and was finally advised by family members to call the police. She dialed 911 at approximately 8:12 p.m. So it was almost 2 hours. Or it was either almost 2 hours or over 2 hours after she was deceased did they call for help. No life-saving measures were performed to help the victim. The victim last ate on Thursday, 9/23 at around 9 p.m. The victim was only provided about 6 ounces of water from Thursday up until the time of her death. Based on the above facts and circumstances, I believe the defendant is guilty of assault on a child under her custody and care that, to a responsible person, would likely produce great bodily injury or death, resulting in the child's death in violation of Penal Code Section 273 ABA. I declare that the foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge under penalty of perjury of the laws of the state of California, and it's signed by Sergeant J.J. Vallejo, San Jose Police Department, and dated on February 1st, 2022. So, looking at this video, I truly believe she doesn't think she did anything wrong. And I don't think that they set out to do it. I don't think it was a malicious act. I think in her mind and in the mind of her uncle and the grandfather, they were doing right. You know, people will get, sometimes people's beliefs are so strong that they don't really realize what they're doing is wrong. It's just a sad, tragic story all around. Thank you for watching, and y'all have a good night.